And welcome back to part 10 of What Gaara Was Raised in the Leaf, part 10. Bit of house cleaning. One, after discussing it a little bit over in the comments section, I do agree. The Danzo being with Obito thing doesn't actually make a lot of sense. So that's something I can retcon. He's actually probably hanging out with Orochimaru. That actually would make more sense. Okay, so I'm going to spend as little time as I can, but it's going to take a minute or two to, give my overall point of view on this at this point. So I did get into a discussion, and you can find it in the last video. We kind of go back and forth on this with someone about why Obito would or would not have gone after Sasuke during the time skip. Their argument, there was a lot going on, so I'm not going to summarize the entire thing or talk about the whole thing. I'll summarize it. They basically said, and I don't want to go over because it's a lot of stuff being talked about. Saying that was the perfect conditions based on the scenario I set up. I argue, though, that he wouldn't necessarily go after Sasuke at this point in time. Some of the arguments he made were, and by the way, I'm sticking with the fact he took Sasuke here. Some of the arguments he made was he would have gone during the time skip. He casually walked around the village before and after the Uchiha massacre. He turned him on the leaf as a method to further cripple the village. He's also highly manipulative and would take this time to train him. Let's see what else. What other minor points can I bring up? I made an argument against that. They said all they're seeing is the perfect conditions for Obito to make his move. Except for Sasuke early convinced him to train under him. Sasuke likes running by his own rules, but only when he thinks he has enough strength to make the move. Let's see here. What are some of the other points they made? I made a point that Sasuke wasn't the priority at the point, and that if that were the case, he would have taken Sasuke as a kid. They said Sasuke wasn't a priority, but it was a perfect set of circumstances. Kid Sasuke didn't have the reason to want to leave the leaf, but this version was the original escaped. Let's see here. It's either he remains in jail forever or Obito comes early. That's not the only options, by the way. It's that's your way you're interpreting it, but that's not the only options. I think you said he said I misunderstood Obito. I did not misunderstand Obito, by the way. I mentioned he could see the value. Why didn't he see the value in Sasuke? Maybe post the Uchiha massacre. Young Sasuke didn't have any value at 7 years old. It was just the fireball jutsu under his belt. That's something I'll bring up in just a second. There's also the fact that Itachi was healthy. I'm going to tell you right now that is why I actually probably, as the more we got into this, the more in hindsight I realized he would not have taken Sasuke at this point. Now I'll explain why. Obito found Itachi was sick from beginning of time since the Sasuke novel. Okay, I guess that's in the novel. But he still didn't make a move on Sasuke. That's the thing. And I'm glad you can't. And you get that I mentioned I can't cover every single bit of the source material, but you're saying that stuff I'm saying is contradicting. But that's contradicting to what you're thinking of the scenario. That's not necessarily contradicting everything because it isn't necessarily a contradiction depending on how you explain it. You also made the point that if he's brazen enough to send the two most destructive members of the Akatsuki to the leaf, why would he just not take Sasuke there? Okay, so and there was more to it, but that's the generalization. How far I made this right now? 4 minutes. I'll keep this brief at 2 minutes. Okay, where's not the value of taking Sasuke then and there? Because he knows he's Itachi's brother, and he knows that he can use that to, he can basically use Sasuke as he was. What's the best way to put it? Sasuke grew more and more hateful, and obviously was hell bent on Itachi. He could still use that against Itachi with Sasuke. If anything, it gives him a longer time to train him. But the problem is he wouldn't do that because Itachi's someone he was legitimately concerned about. The idea that he would go after Sasuke because Itachi was sick doesn't make any sense either. Because if that's the case, he would have taken him after they met the first time around. When he fought Deidara, he would have taken him after that fight. So that logic doesn't work because he didn't take him until after Itachi was gone. and after Sasuke wasn't was completely wiped out. The fact of the matter is, if by the logic you're saying he would have been brazen enough to take Sasuke then, well, why didn't he just look around for Orochimaru, use Zetsu to find Orochimaru at some point, and then get Sasuke? Well, because he could have to contend with Orochimaru. Bullshit. He could beat Orochimaru. Kamui alone would just allow him to go whoop and pop him over. But regardless, let's just assume he didn't do that. After he goes on his own, forms his own team, and then he encounters Deidara, he should have taken him by that logic. So I don't buy that logic, about that explanation either. Is there anything else that I do get the logic behind him taking him early. I'm not saying that doesn't make some level of sense. But again, Itachi being sick, you still have an Itachi there. He did not take Sasuke until Itachi was dead. Like, he did not do that until he was dead. And the fact that they had met previously, and when Itachi wasn't nearby, kind of just speaks to the fact he probably wouldn't have taken him regardless. Also, you made a point of saying that Obito does a lot of stuff he does just for entertainment. Honestly, that strikes me as a lot of what he did with Sasuke. Because, yeah, he wanted to be more, distill more, twisted more, like, how'd you put it? Like, twist more corruption into the leaf or whatever, or put him against the leaf. But he was already kind of against the leaf to begin with. I mean, he wasn't truly, but he was getting there, to be honest. And all he had to do was say that and watch. That really, Sasuke to me, when it comes to Obito, when you really break it down, what did Sasuke actually do that furthered Obito's plans? I think that's the best way to look at this. What did Sasuke actually do to overthrow, to benefit his plans? Tried to go after the Eight Tails, failed. Like, they technically thought they got the Eight Tails, but they didn't, so he failed. So they said Kisame. Now you could make, well, he brought the Eight Tails. No, he didn't. He might have thought he could handle the Eight Tails. Turns out he couldn't, because B never once used a Tail Beast bomb on him. Otherwise, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that didn't happen. He attacked the Kage Summit. Really, if I remember correctly, on his own accord, more or less, because he knew Danzo would be there. He took out Danzo, which I guess was a little problematic for Obito, but not really, more of a hindrance. He gave him Itachi's eyes, but again, really, when you break it down, Sasuke really was not integral for Obito's plan. He really wasn't. At best, maybe you could say he knew Sasuke would fail, and it would lure B out of the village. And that way you could send Kisame after him. But that's a lot of fan gymnastics in there. That's a lot of mental gymnastics to think that maybe that's what was going on there. Otherwise, like, the Kage Summit, he still would have declared war on them regardless. Danzo probably still would have tried to take him on regardless. Sasuke in the war had no bearing on, if anything, him giving Sasuke Itachi's eyes fucked him over because it gave him an eternal Mangekyo that him and Naruto could use to team up against his ass. So, yeah, I don't buy the idea that he'd get Sasuke early, because Sasuke isn't really a priority. Sasuke is an idea he has, and, put the key in him and watch him run, but I don't think he's integral to the story in terms of Obito grabbing him. Most of the time. Here, I think because of the situation here, I'm not going to retcon it, is what I'm going to say. Sasuke was still taken during the invasion, whatnot, and so forth. So, the thing, though, is he has to keep him away, hidden from Itachi. He certainly has to make sure, because if Itachi finds out he has Sasuke, there's going to be problems. Because, again, Obito is one of the few, and even if Obito had died from the Amaterasu, I pointed this out, yeah, then what? Sasuke is directionless at that point. Like, he has no motivation to do anything. Like, Itachi's dead. The one guy Itachi said he was going to kill is dead. Madara is dead. The Madara. So, what happens there? So, look, we can agree to disagree, but I don't think it would happen the way you think it would happen. But if you look, I'm not saying it's possible. Like, it's like, now what if I could do at some point where he took him or something like that. I'm just saying I don't think it happens here. Now that we're 10 minutes in, it went on way longer than I intended. Let's get into it. So Sasuke, the thing about, I forgot to check, but the thing about the next chunk of the story, more or less from here to allegedly the Sasuke and versus Itachi part of the story, is that we don't actually have a good idea of how much time passes between what essentially would be the invasion of the leaf, which would have taken place at the same time as the invasion of the sand, and when the Itachi Sasuke fight happens. Based though on the fact it takes a little bit of time for them to get to the sand, save Sasuke, get back to the leaf, then there's like a week's worth of time, I think, passes between something like that, between that and the bridge mission. Then Naruto's training with the wind release takes at least a couple weeks, if I remember correctly. Crap! I knew I was gonna have to do this. I gotta go get my charger from my laptop. Like, why don't we just move this into the other room? That way, I don't have to just walk back and forth here for a little bit. All right, so we're moving. Tracking shot. Yeah, it's not that I didn't have the power initially. It's that I dilly-dallied a little bit too long. Okay, so, and we're on the charger. No, we're not. There we are. We're on the charger now. Okay, so we don't really know the exact amount of time. I would say, though, it's probably at least a few months minimum, because you also got Sasuke looking for Itachi during that time period, having this fight with Dandara, recovering from it. So it's got to be a month or two at least, minimum, maybe 3. So is that enough time for Obito to get Sasuke back into some sort of fighting shape? Well, yes, because we know in just 2 weeks, Sasuke was able to not just build up the speed to get the speed required to use the Chidori effectively, but learn the Chidori. So we know, like, in just 2 weeks on its own, Sasuke could easily get back into shape, if not start to surpass his limits again. The person I was discussing this with did point out that Madara used Genjutsu to kind of speed up his battle learning abilities as well. I don't remember that personally, but if you say so. Again, I've never read the light novels for Naruto. I've read the light novels for Bleach, weirdly enough, but not Naruto. Which is why I'm much more well-versed in my Bleach lore than I am my Naruto lore. I'm pretty knowledgeable on Naruto. I'm not denying that, but like, I would never sell myself short on that. But in terms of the more in-depth lore and some of the backstories and stuff like that, and history, I definitely know more about Bleach than I know Naruto. I'm not saying I know every single thing about it, but I know a lot more. So if he's doing that, plus adding some more jutsu under his belt, I could see Sasuke enraged activate his 3 Tomai Sharingan. So I could see that definitely working in his advantage, no doubt. Learning more fire jutsu, probably even mastering some more lightning jutsu, courtesy of just Zetsu probably bringing like knowledge scrolls or something like that to Sasuke. But I think what happens is he has to stay in a specialized area. He has to stay in a certain hideout that Itachi probably doesn't know about. Now, the reason I don't think this works towards like the overall grand scheme of him taking Sasuke early would be Itachi, I think, would eventually find him out and find him, knowing that Sasuke's gone. And speaking of which, Itachi, we know word travels fast that Sasuke is gone. So Itachi has to wonder, where did he go? And then he does think about Obito or Madara at this point, just like, you. But he can't prove it unless he knows for certain. And so Sasuke has spent a lot of time training there. Meanwhile, Orochimaru would have to be taking another body at this point, because Sasuke just isn't available right now. They just need another suitable body. He's not taking Danzo, obviously, but Danzo helps him work on maybe some genetics, or vice versa. He's helping him with genetics to help maybe strengthen his body. Maybe adding a little bit of, say, Hashirama cells into his body or something along those lines. We know he would get those down the road because that's what the white Zetsus are made of. But because Orochimaru, it's insane how strong Orochimaru actually is when when he gets brought back from the dead. Because he's using Kabuto's DNA, who's melded all of the Sound Force abilities, Kimimara's bone release, all of Hebi, or not, actually, it would be Taka, So Ataka, as well as that, then after that would release courtesy of freaking the Zetsu clone. Like Orochimaru got, and then that's adding on everything you already knew to that. Orochimaru got pretty freaking hacked. And yet he still wasn't as strong. Like, he still recognized Sasuke as being stronger than him. So, yeah. Tells you how strong Sasuke got, too. So, they're wondering and plotting as well. Just, where the Chia boys. Yes, Sasuke's in the wind. But we'll find him. There's no doubt about it. Because I know how to. We don't keep an eye on him. We keep an eye on dear old Itachi. Lord Orochimaru, Sasuke is still hell-bent on revenge against his brother. So it's important. So the only way to find Sasuke is to keep an eye on Itachi. Eventually, he will come. And so that's the plan, because the Akatsuki didn't have knowledge on where Orochimaru was. I am willing to bet Orochimaru definitely had some knowledge on where at least some of the Akatsuki were. Like, I'm not saying he knew where they all were at every single moment of every single day. Not saying that, but you don't stay ahead of someone and stay hidden as long as Orochimaru has from an organization like that without knowing where they are, so you don't end up where they are. If that makes sense. So that's their game plan right now. Meanwhile, Naruto, Gaara, everyone, they're just reeling from the idea that Sasuke is now gone. Sakura's crying a little bit, but she's not like, she's like, Sasuke, why? And they're just like, did he get, how did he break out? Could he have broken out? And then Neji's like, no, he's looking at his Sharingan. The chakra seals on here are much on these bars are much too powerful. Someone in Sasuke's condition to be able to break out of, and there's no signs of force entry. So what do you say? He just teleported out of here? And to which, Shikamaru, who's probably there listening, is like, well, it might be the most logical. It's possible. A reverse summoning technique of some kind, a space-time ninjutsu, anything. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But it doesn't change the fact Sasuke's gone. We have no idea how to tail him at this point. Even if we sent out some of the Inuzuka, but they can't even follow. They don't even have a trail to follow. They might have a scent, but they can't follow where it's gone. So right now Sasuke's in the wind, and they're reeling. Maybe they're rum, or maybe because they're old enough, they're having a small drink, and this sucks. Or it's like, this sucks. It really does, yeah. It's like, but what are we gonna do? And Kakashi's like, it's a good question. What are we going to do? Well, we always do. We go and get him back, but we don't even know where he's gone. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just because he's gone doesn't mean he's completely gone. Or just because he's missing doesn't mean he's gone. He's out there somewhere. We're going to find him and bring his ass back. Because that's what friends do. Because that's what Team 7 does. And Gaara just like, and like puts his fist in there. And Sakura kind of wipes her eyes. And she's like, you're right. And Kakashi's like, well, it looks like my team's grown up quite a lot since then. And he even puts his fist in. All right, tell you what, the next round of ramen's on me. Yeah! So, and there's the dog. He's like, wait, what was that noise? And so, they're walking, and should note that now it's kind of time for a little bit of slice of life. Not much, but because now there's no real missions going on at the moment. They're probably brushing up, training. Gaara or Naruto finally sees Choji again. Choji, oh my God, you're even fatter than normal. Which he would fully say that because there's no Sai here to end it. By the way, sorry if you hear some background noise. Oh, I'm gonna be quiet for a second, see if that pops up. Oh yeah, that's actually now my camera's picking that up. Some guy's cutting trees up across the street. So I'm gonna keep talking over this, so in case you can't hear that as much. But because Sai's not here to interrupt that moment, Naruto was gonna say fatter. And that's not a word you use around Choji. Naruto, what did you say? Naruto, you're not supposed to use that word. Sorry, fuller. I said fuller. I meant fuller. And fit. Yeah, fuller and fit. And I was like, good. Good. That's what I thought you said. Because if you had said what initially sounded like you said, we might have problems, Naruto. Naruto, Naruto, Gaara. And there's Ino. Oh, hi, Ino. And even Gaara's like, whoa, Ino's gotten really pretty. Gaara. He doesn't realize he said that out loud. The guy's like, kid, you should probably know something. What? You said that out loud. It's like, wait, what? And then Ino's just like, whoa, like blushing. And everyone's just looking. I was like, hmm? It's like, you guys getting lunch or something? Maybe we should get lunch together. It's like, yeah, sure, I could eat. And they're not like looking at a car. It's like, and Ino's just, it was like, it's kind of like an official date. Maybe, you know what? I gotta use the bathroom. Yeah, me too. Oh, me too. And now they just leave them there awkwardly. So I teach, how you been? I've been really well. Yes, thank you. By the way, right now he's still tuning because some people made a point saying that there's no exam for Jonin. You do it on recommendation and a couple other requirements that we're not aware of. And that might be true, but the problem is simply that he's been out of the village this whole time. He only had one mission as a Chunin, a successful mission, but one mission. You don't just become a Jonin straight from that. So that's not how that works. But that's not to say that him defending the village as well as he did and showed the level of teamwork he did couldn't get him there. Either way, though, they're talking, they're chatting. Meanwhile, Shikamaru, Choji, and Naruto are kind of like, he pulled some of their lunch, some of their food aside and going, oh, this is great. Oh, you think you're going to kiss? No, wait, it's too early, man. I mean, look, Ina's always had a thing for Gaara, but Gaara's always been so aloof. Yeah, no, Gaara doesn't really go for, the loud, brash ones. But Ina seems to really chill down. She's still got her moments, but yeah, she's really kind of matured over these years. It's like, Naruto kind of I'll definitely say that. It's like, yo, stop. It's like, what? It's like, no, hey, look, I'm a guy, okay? Look, if this works out, Gaara's girl. I ain't touching that. Bro code. But, hey, look. This, admit it, we're admitting things where admitting things comes. And so eventually, they kind of, I know, so, oh, sorry, we're like, oh, yeah, we finished. We and Ino are actually going to go for a walk, if that's okay. It's like, no, yeah, fine, no, go. And they go out and, they're walking and eventually end up holding hands and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm making Ino and Gaara an item. I like that idea. I still got to start doing that series I wanted to do where I just mix and match the partners in Naruto and just seeing how strong the kids would be. A magnet release, sand using mind transfer jutsu individual, that could be pretty scary. But anyway, so that's all that's happening there. Now, surprisingly, something that really doesn't change all that much except for how quickly to defeat them is the Kakuzu Hidan incident. Azuma would be out on a mission. That makes sense. And he still gets killed. I mean, we see the Shikamaru and Team 10, he still gets killed. And then Team 10 goes out to get their revenge. Now, difference here is though Naruto and Gaara aren't training, or no, neither of them are specifically training in anything specific. So Team 7 is an immediate backup. So when they start fighting Kakuzu, Team 7 shows up very quickly to offset the level of power this guy has. Naruto and Gaara both tag team using the Rasen Shuriken to basically, beat his ass down. And yeah, there you have it on that. And then Hidan would go down the way he goes. Now, we're at the 23-minute mark, but there is definitely a section I want to go over here. Sasuke has been training for a little while now, for a few months, as we put it. And he basically asked they ask questions like, how long before I get my chance at Itachi? Oh, it's Sasuke. I don't think you're really ready for that. I'm ready. Believe me, I'm ready. You think that? You believe so, do you? Very well, let's test that theory, shall we? There's someone I want you to get for me. Something very important. If you can bring it to me, I will keep Zetsu on standby to make sure you complete your goal. If you can bring it to me, and bring it to me successfully, I will make an arrangement. Tachi, you see your brother's, and he even points out, your brother is at the weakest he's been. Of course, the longer you wait, the weaker he will be. You see your brother's dying of a chakra disease, Sasuke. He's dying? Yes. Now, it's not entirely known if it was a complication from the Mangekyo or if it was just a disease he caught. I think it was a rare complication from his Mangekyo. because Itachi didn't have very large reserves to begin. Like he's never got super tiny reserves, but he's actually has like roughly average reserves. And his the Mangekyo drains a lot of chakra, and his chakra disease made it so he never had a full amount of chakra to begin with. So he explains that it would the longer he tries to persuade Sasuke to wait, but Sasuke doesn't want to. Hearing this, so he's weak now. He'll be weaker still later tomorrow and the next day. My best estimate is he only has a couple weeks, maybe a month left to live. And Sasuke is like, I don't want to wait. It's, very well. You've definitely grown stronger over this time, Sasuke, but I need to test you still. Bring me something, and I will make an arrangement. I will lure Itachi to a location, and you can have it your best chance with him. Now he's not gonna send him after Shikaku or Naruto at this time, because that's just suicide. There's two of them. They're usually together, and they're on the same team. Plus, you got a whole village. That doesn't make sense. Unless they're out on a mission or something, and even then he's got to plan and time that. Instead, we know he sent Kasame after Son. Actually, it was Roshi, to be fair. Roshi, to get the Four Tails, Son Goku. I think this is what he does for Sasuke instead to test him. Remember, he had sent him as test the loyalty and to get the A-Tails. And to be fair, if Killer Bee hadn't pulled the wool over their eyes and hadn't held back by not killing them outright, they did technically get a piece of the A-Tails. So it was, but that was, like I said, that's like the best. Like they mostly failed the mission. They got a little piece, but not a lot. So I think that's what he does for Sasuke. He's a much weaker, and yes, he's compatible with his tail base, and yes, he can do a full perfect Jinchuriki, but so could Bee, so not that much different. And he has law release, but he's a much weaker Jinchuriki by comparison. So this would actually be a very good test. And so he sends him a location, teleports him nearby. Zetsu, though, pops out of the ground. Are you sure this is wise, Obito? After all, the Jinchuriki known as Roshi is still no pushover. So, I have faith in Sasuke. Besides, worst case scenario, I have Kasame on backup. Well, let's see how he does. And Sasuke's walking down the road. I think he has been brushed up, at least to some degree, in swordsmanship. Because again, as someone put it, with Genjutsu, augmenting his kind of perception, speeding up his battle prowess and whatnot, I think he can get a lot of training down in a few months, no problem. Definitely got his body back into shape. If anything, he probably was still kept working out, at least push-ups and all that, just to make sure his muscles didn't atrophy. It's not like he was bound to a chair or anything like that. It's not Aizen, except Aizen is Aizen, so that didn't matter for atrophy at all. Either way, he walks up and he sees this guy, old man, just sitting there smoking a and is he wearing an Akatsuki cloak, Sasuke? No, actually. I don't see him doing that because he's not really a member of the Akatsuki per se. Even though they give them all Akatsuki clothes at one point. It's like, here, it's our uniform. It's stylish. I got one upstairs actually. Just because it doesn't want to put Roshi off, or then again maybe he is wearing it just for shits and giggles. Sasuke, has his Sharingan activated, and it's like, I see. Who are you? I've heard about you guys, the Akatsuki. I heard a while ago that the two of you guys tried to attack the Leaf, take their Jinchuriki. How'd that go for you? It's like, it doesn't matter. And Sasuke didn't hear about. Well, Sasuke was there, but he's still like, so that's what that was about. Doesn't matter. I'm told I got to take you in. The Four Tails is wanted. It's like, oh, is that right? The old son, you want old son, do you? And Goku's probably like, you remembered my name after all. Goku's like, do you remember my name? I was like, can I call you son? Unfortunately, me and him are kind of interlocked with each other. And to be honest, me and him never got along all that well. But he's not that bad of a guy. And his son basically just stopped making friends. This guy's got a Sharingan. We don't like Uchiha. It's like, oh, is that what it is? The Uchiha. I was wondering what I recognize those eyes from. Anyway, I'm afraid I can't I'm afraid I can't sit down. Shin just pulls out his sword and just like kind of lights it up with lightning chakra. Good. I was hoping you'd make this a little bit more difficult. I would like to test the labors of my training. It's like, oh, it's been getting stronger. Huh? He just kind of stands up, creaks his knees a little bit. It's been training, huh? Yeah. Well, that's the only way to get stronger, isn't it? And just like Sasuke fires the Chidori Senbon, which is something I think he could have figured out. Should note, he's seen the hand signs for the Chidori. He just hasn't practiced it. I think he does have a Chidori at this point. Again, months of practice and training. I think he can have many jutsu down. He just fires Chidori Senbon. It's like, whoa, dangerous. Oh. All right, lava. It's like lava style. Lava ball jutsu. Lava. And he just slices it with Chidori, which luckily, because lava is a mix of fire and earth, I would imagine lightning should be able to at least offset it. But being a liquid, I mean, it's possible. It's a good question. We know that something like electricity can be shored up by water to some degree, but water also conducts electricity. It's kind of the issue I was talking about in the My Hero What If. But because it's not, while it's liquid, it's not water, I imagine it doesn't short out electricity in the same way. Still, he kind of cuts through it. So, and all of a sudden, it's like ninja art, lava battlefield. It's like, oh, whoa. And Sasuke, hot, he has to get on a tree, which is like a rock, which is not burning. The rock's heating up, though. It's like he made the whole battlefield lava. And he just starts walking on it casually. By the way, we don't know if Roshi could do this. I'm making this shit up, but the fact that he could use lava release and was really good at it, because that was a trait of the Four Tails, I would be willing to bet, maybe if he's using his Jinchuriki cloak, he could walk on lava. It's like, you're young and spunky. I appreciate that. Yeah, I remember when I was like that too. But unfortunately, I don't have time to play games with you. He just rushes in. Sasuke's like, he can see it, but he can barely react. He's making he uses like a lightning clone, which Kakashi can use. So maybe it's something he's picked up as well. Again, scrolls or whatnot. And, Roshi goes, it's like fire style, fireball jutsu. You kidding, kid? Just moves his hand up. Lava comes out and pretty much extinguishes the fire because lava's liquid and that could extinguish a fire. Or at the very minimum, the lava just kind of like burns. Because we see that in One Piece where the user of the the Magna Fruit, kills Ace because lava's a liquid and it just smothers the flame. Either way, Sasuke is struggling to keep up. I was like, I can't believe I'm still this weak. Damn it. And then finally he's just like, screw it, like, to hell with this. And he just activates his curse mark. And he gets an amp, which is able to help him kind of even the playing field to a certain degree. It's like, what is that? I've never seen anything like that. And all of a sudden, they're kind of duking about back and forth. Sasuke is able to kind of hit his arm, but he's not able to fully get through the cloak. Just as he's slowly putting up the version 2. Like, the version 2 cloak is right underneath the Chidori. You don't get cocky, kid. And just, it's like, crap. And, it just fires a tail beast spawn. Sasuke has to get out of the way. Use it as substitution jutsu. And then Sasuke just, and just finally transforms into his second state curse mark. And starts flying. Wings, hands, what the? You're really weird, kid. And he just, uses the Black Chidori, except he uses Black Chidori Senbon and even is able to just barely pierce the cloak, concentrating the attack. And then is able to not fully use I can't remember what it was, the Chidori Spear, but turning into spikes. But it is able to kind of skewer him a little bit. And then all of a sudden he morphs it. Something I made up. Lightning style Chidori Cage. Starts binding him down into the ground. Now it's over. And then finally Roshi just turns into the full Son Goku Four Tails. Don't mess with me. It's like, don't mess with me, kid. And just slam Sasuke and Sasuke, crap. Damn it. His curse mark's starting to fade, but he just keeps it activated longer. Oh, and obviously Zetsu's keeping in touch with Obito. This isn't looking good. We'll wait a little bit longer. And finally Sasuke just looks. Finally it ends with Roshi. All right, kid. Enough games. He starts welling up lava in his throat. This is where it ends. Yeah, I gotta admit, I haven't had this much of a fight in a while. You were a fun opponent, but I'm not going anywhere. And Sasuke finally just looks him in the eye and just
full on uses his Sharingan. It's like, what is this? It's a Sharingan Genjutsu. Where's this? It's Roshi's like, I don't know. Goku's like, with something we're extremely susceptible to. We have no counter for it. Now, granted, being a perfect Jinchuriki does give you a counter for that. I can't recall if Roshi was a perfect Jinchuriki, but I'll look into that right now. Roshi, not Roshi, Naruto. I want to say he was either a perfect Jinchuriki or near perfect. Now, he, in theory, should be able to just get out of that Genjutsu, because we saw Killer Bee get out of that Genjutsu. But he's not so much using it on, okay, as a Jinchuriki, Roshi can get a significant amount of the chakra and stand. Full extent of control is unknown, but he can fully manifest the tail beast to cast the tail beast ball. Every reincarnated, he was immobilized by a beast clone, transformed into version 2, was able to create enormous torrents of lava. So he can at least turn into it. That doesn't inherently mean he's a perfect Jinchuriki, however. That is the case. He was on better terms with his tail beast too, but they weren't like perfect. So I'm going to go on the assumption that a Sharingan Genjutsu could work, but maybe only if he's actually in that form. Or maybe not. Either way, I think it could work on him. At the very minimum, to stall him. Sasuke, meanwhile, preps the one final attack he had, which was Curing, which he hadn't even perfected yet. And luckily, with all the heat and all the things raising, it did create enough storm clouds to, use the Curing. It's not perfected, it's maybe only half as strong, but it still blasts Goku and maybe knocks his ass out. Sasuke just, it's like, and then Obito and then Zetsu's like, not bad, kid, not bad. And all of a sudden the portal opens up for him. It's like, let's get him over there. And then, they bring him there to start the chakra absorption process. And Obito is like looking on, waiting for, allowing Sasuke to recover, obviously, for a few days. Well done indeed, Sasuke. So, I believe I should probably hold up my end of the bargain. Of course, when I told him you were here, Itachi was more than a little upset. He even tried to kill me at one point. And he very nearly could have succeeded had he known all of my abilities. But that's neither here nor there. He'll be waiting for you at this location, at this time tomorrow. And Sasuke's like, he's ready to go. So, yes. Is it possible that I maybe overpowered Sasuke in that little bit amount of time? Yes. Do I actually think Sasuke straight out could have beaten Roshi? Actually, that's a good question. Do you think he could have? He didn't actually beat B. B feigned his defeat. So I can't count that. I think some of the weaker tail of Jinchuriki he probably could have. Roshi being one of them. But again, he's not as strong here as he was in the original, to be fair. So yeah, that's where we're leaving off in part 10. We'll join us back on part 11 on Sunday. I'm not exactly sure how long this one's going because we got a lot of deviations going on right now. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Later.